I'm going to do something new by answering a few community questions with a video episode. Arana asks, when do you need to make a new trumpet interchange or generic highway? My city always gets stuck when I have 15,000 population and I drown in traffic. While Diego asks, can you make a video on highway interchanges? Also, when should I add an interchange within my city? Those are excellent questions simply because we all encounter these predicaments from time to time. This is Captain Ahvious and welcome to an advanced guide to highway exits and interchanges. Here's the top view of Fisher Enclave City, and the first two built-in generic interchanges, we simply replaced and redesigned them to better match our theme. That was simply a personal goal to replace these interchanges so we can make the entire city our own. So the next question is, where do I place the other interchanges and highways? To reduce traffic, there should always be a highway on every tile that you unlock, and they should all connect together. So in this case, our 9-tile unlock plan will be these tiles, and our additional highway plan will be here. And our interchanges will be more or less in these areas. Then we'll need highway exits between interchanges in order to reduce bottlenecking. From tile 1, you should already know what 9 tiles you will be unlocking and how the highway network will be for a better chance of reduced traffic. But let's say you did not plan and you don't have these additional highways and merely just have bridges. That would be extremely problematic because let's say vehicles here would have to travel deep within the heart of your city to, let's say, its destination is all the way here. That's a lot of road to cover. Though one may argue to have public transportation so the Sims won't have to drive so far. Yes, that is a viable solution. However, what about trucks with goods to deliver and return? Coming from the highway, the trucks would have to go through your city and across bridges to reach its destination, then make its long trip back. Of course, a solution would be to add cargo stations, but unfortunately, this Fisher Enclave map does not have train lines. However, this map does have cargo harbors, but are unlocked at 28,000 population, while air cargo unlocks at 55,000 population. That's a long time to wait for cargo stations to be available. Therefore, the safest bet is to practice adding highways on all the tiles that you unlock and connect them together. Well, there is one final solution, and that is to make tunnels. But if you have been watching my gameplays long enough, you'll know that I avoid tunnels completely, which includes underground metro. Tunnels exist, and they are completely acceptable, but tunneling is just way too overpowered. It is completely up to the player. You have the freedom of choice and you are the mayor of your own city, so if you choose to make tunnels, then so be it. As it is my personal choice to have everything exposed so that we could enjoy watching the different types of vehicles and trains pass by. We are currently adding half a custom exit at this area. I say half exit since I have not populated the other side of the map, so we'll reserve the other half for another time. Since the city has ample means to enter and exit the highways, the other half exit is not crucial to add at this moment. Notice how the positioning of the exits are placed on a slope. Since zoning or placing buildings on slopes is not ideal due to the cracks that it causes on the edge of the buildings, therefore slopes are better utilized with roads or pathways. Here again is another slope example where instead of being frowned upon, it becomes part of the city park design by becoming a park area with walking paths. And the final touches would be to make sure that the exits are going in the right direction. This exit here will connect the ore and future oil industry to the city and to the highway. I have also made a decision on making the exits as close and compact as possible without overwhelming the roads of traffic. We are again utilizing the underpass method to go under the highway, like this side, which makes the roads more neat and clean instead of simply making bridges over the highway. It takes a lot more effort, especially while completing the task in vanilla without Move It mod, but you can't deny the beauty in the results. To make the bridges perfectly smooth, again the vanilla method is to create holes in the ground deep enough to make the bridge pillars perfectly perpendicular to the top of the bridge. Then we'll simply refill the hole but leave ample space for a road to go underneath. Notice how we have a third bridge with 2 lanes, which serves to reduce the confusion in the main highway. It may seem to be imbalanced that we don't have an extra bridge on the other side, but that is when the roundabout comes into play. This is actually a customized half dumbbell interchange, which are tricky especially when the roundabout isn't large enough to accommodate the amount of traffic coming in and out of the city. Which is why it is immensely crucial to have multiple exits, which we will have here. I can still very well create a roundabout here to complete the dumbbell, but I'm really enjoying the idea of this third bridge. It may be a little awkward and unnecessary, but I like it. It certainly creates cracks on the edges of the roads, but that can easily be covered up with trees. So try not to be too disappointed whenever you see cracks in edges. You just need to be prepared on what to do and how to clean or cover it up. Alright, we got one half completed, now let's focus our efforts on the other side. Remember when I mentioned that this area is extremely compact? That is because there is also going to be a monorail track that would go along the highway and no less with the 3 bridges. The monorail track is a welcomed addition. It makes the area as simple as roads to look more alive when there's something extra in the mix. Much like how the monorail also travels alongside the curve of the trumpet interchange that we made. To help reduce the pressure on the roundabout, we are going to add an additional entry point here. Therefore, vehicles that need to turn right no longer need to travel through the roundabout. Now, of course, we simply need to complete the other side while also creating an extra exit point to help further reduce the traffic going through the roundabout. And finally, the roads are complete and we can now resume the gameplay and observe the traffic while we reconnect the monorail tracks. Now, this is what I was worried about. That track is not perfect because it dips down unnecessarily. You will have to excuse me while I remedy this predicament. Now that is definitely much more like it, and yet again, we had to go the extra mile by digging holes just to make that straight. Just like everyone else, if there was a mod that we all wish to be part of the base game, would be the Move It mod. They could remove the fact that you can duplicate buildings for free, but I really just want the feature to raise and lower objects and nodes. And to align nodes to make perfect road slopes is a dream come true. Nevertheless, this is all still possible with vanilla. And finally, we are done. And we'll spruce up the area a bit by planting trees on the city part of the highway, while the industry side still has to be refurnished by adding the oil industry. Now, this underpass is crucial because this is where the garbage trucks enter the city. This is also where the trucks with farm goods pass. Overall, there's a lot of trucks that would need to go back and forth between the city and the industry areas. Hence why these two underpasses is extremely important. And at some point, we will need to create another underpass for when the oil industry is established. On this side of the map, we are again creating, yep, you guessed it, an underpass, but this time it's inverted. We are actually going to dip the highway down and will continue to be at a lower level until it reaches the border of the game tile. It will make more sense when we get to the border. Recall how we plan to add an interchange here that would continue to the large island and eventually across the river. Since this would be the 9th tile to unlock, I could actually make this 3-way interchange last, but I kinda wanna complete this half of the city. However, in an upcoming episode, we will need to create another interchange here before we start to populate the area. Remember to always start the skeleton of your city, which are the highways, then add in the joints, which are the intersections and or highway exits. Then you can proceed adding the flesh, which are your zoned areas, park life, campuses, and whatnot. This 3-way interchange is extra difficult because it is at the edge of the map, and we also have this avenue bridge that connects the city to the industry area. This is also the endpoint and why the highway is lowered. We could actually make more space by evicting half the high-density residential area here, but that would cause an unnecessary death wave that would echo throughout the entire lifetime of your city. So as much as possible, do not dezone a large portion of your high-density areas, especially when they are nearly level 5. But didn't we just dezone these residents just to replace the 2-lane road with an avenue? Yes, we did. However, we only dezoned one side of the road and not an entire block. More importantly, this avenue is a much better choice than to have the 2-lane road. We are going for an extremely compact trumpet interchange with its small loop. The trumpet is also the most effective and versatile 3-way interchanges. I would prefer to have a larger interchange, but again, the space remaining is lacking and we also have this added avenue bridge to accommodate. Nevertheless, look at how we were able to neatly make use of the slightly sunken highway for the roads to pass underneath the avenue and the other bridge here. We will also be utilizing this trumpet interchange to make custom exits. Notice how I'm avoiding to add extra stress to the avenue by not connecting the exit directly on it. Most of the trucks that would be entering this area would be going to the farm industry anyway, so why not connect the roads to the farms directly? At some point, we could always upgrade the dirt for asphalt roads. We'll just need to wrap up this area by adding trees to help fill in the blank spaces and to cover that road crack as the road slopes upwards toward the farm. And this is where we'll be adding a route that would directly exit out of the city. Again, notice how its origin doesn't start from the avenue in hopes to prevent future traffic. Excuse me while I continue the remaining construction of this interchange. I am honestly not 100% convinced about the current design of this interchange, but that is also because we have yet to unlock this tile. So for the meantime, this interchange will have to suffice. We also have a blank space on the left of the interchange, which I have not yet decided on what to do with. Now that we've connected all the roads, we can finally resume the gameplay and assess the damage for dezoning one side of the high-density residential block. We now have the low land value icons appear, and that is due to the fact that we had removed a few schools and death care, which we will need to place back so the residents would stop complaining. I am going to stretch this one-way highway a bit further so we could add an additional exit, thus providing more route options for our sims. Let's actually not have the tram track go to the industry area and just have it loop within the city. So far, the city's active public transportations are just 2 monorail stations and 2 ferry piers, while our tram track has yet to be utilized in any way. Nevertheless, it's also necessary to prepare your choice of transportation as you are populating your city. And lastly, we can finally fill majority of the remaining coastline, so at least we don't have a large empty space. Again, thank you for your questions, and I hope that helps give you a better idea on how to manage your city's traffic by planning out your highway routes, interchanges, and exits. There are other questions that I have not answered, so perhaps you may get a video episode as my response. This applies for all viewers. Feel free to ask questions and I will try my best to answer them. Sometimes I may take a long while to respond, or perhaps I may be accumulating similar questions so I can respond with a video. If you learned something and enjoyed the video and have not subscribed, please consider subscribing. This is Captain Ahvious. I thank you for watching and I hope to see you again in the next episode.